everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2017 movie Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The movie is written and directed by James Gunn, and in this movie, the Guardians of the Galaxy meet Quill's father, Ego, and they go to the planet go to his planet, which is pretty much his entire life. I mean, he's a living planet, but he takes a human form to communicate with them and everything. And as the movie progresses, we see him and Quill kind of have a little bit of a relationship, and Quill learns some about being I think it's called a Celestial, and everything. But as the movie goes on, he finds out that his dad is wanting to try to take over the universe and everything, but he needs Quill to help him and everything. And Quill finds out that his dad is the reason why his mom had the tumor in her head and everything. So Quill, along with the rest of the Guardians, are trying to destroy Ego, the living planet, and everything before he starts using his plan to take over the world and forcing Quill to be part of it. This movie is pretty good. The cast is still really great. Chris Pratt is still great as Star-Lord. He's not quite as funny in this movie as he was in the first movie, but he's still really likable and everything as Star-Lord. And Zoe Saldana is still great as Gamora. The chemistry between the two of them is still really great. Dave Bautista is great as Drax. In fact, he's actually probably the funniest character in the movie. Vin Diesel does the voice of Baby Groot, and he does a good job. Baby Groot is just really adorable and everything. Bradley Cooper does the voice of Rocket, and he's perfect again. Michael Rooker is back as Yondu in a much bigger role, an important role in this film. I really liked him and everything. I liked how they kind of fleshed him out a lot in this movie. James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, is back in this as, I think his name is, what is his name? I can't remember. Kraglin. That's what his name was. It took me a minute to remember. Sean Gunn's back as Kraglin. He does a good job. Karen Gillan is back as Nebula, a much bigger role in this movie. We find out a lot more of her and Gamora's backstory about their childhood and stuff like that, and their relationship. So I think that was one of the best things about the movie, was the relationship between Nebula and Gamora. But yeah, all of the returning cast is still really great. I think that Dave Bautista gets the best scenes though. He's absolutely hilarious in this movie. The new cast though was really good too. Palm Klemenoff plays Manus, who lives with Ego. She's pretty much been forced to be his caretaker and stuff her entire life, but she's a really likable character and everything, and she does play the character very well. Elizabeth Debicki plays Aisha. She's like this golden lady that runs this group of people that at the beginning of the movie the Guardians are trying to help and everything, and then Rocket steals their batteries and have them coming after them throughout the whole movie as well. So there's kind of like a side plot with that and everything, and she does a good job as their leader. Chris Sullivan plays Taserface, who is this character that is wanting to mutinize the Ravengers and get them to go up against Yondu and stuff, and in one of the side plots of the movie where they're Rocket, Groot, and Yondu are kind of stuck having to face off against these Ravengers and everything, and Taserface is hilarious because nobody takes him seriously because his name is Taserface and everything, and they're making, and Rocket constantly making fun of him and everything, and everything. So it's kind of a running gag throughout the movie about his name being Taserface. Sylvester Stallone is in this. He's only in here for really briefly though, but he plays Stakar Orgord. I don't know how to say his name, but he's one of the head Ravengers, and him and Yondu kind of have problems and everything, but he's good in the little bit of time we get to see him and everything. And Kurt Russell plays Ego, the living planet, the human form of Ego, or when he takes human form. He does a really good job in everything. He has, at first he's kind of likable and everything, but you can tell there's something off about him. And as the movie goes on, it gets worse and worse. And then when you find out that he's the reason why Quill's mom had cancer and everything, and he had tons and tons of other kids that and none of them had the celestial power and everything, so he killed them all and everything. You find out he just was a really, really bad person and everything, and everything, but he does a good job playing him, I think, and everything. I don't think Ego is one of my favorite villains, but he's one of those villains that I actually really hate him because he's a really, really jacked up character and everything. But I don't think the humor is as strong in this as it was in the first movie. There's a lot of really, really funny parts in it, especially the part that we see in the commercials where Drax is laughing at Star-Lord because Mantis tells about his sexual feelings towards Gamora. I think that scene is hilarious and everything. But there are some scenes with Drax where he's actually he makes jokes and stuff, but he's not really joking. He's being serious, but they're trying to make it like it's supposed to be funny. The way he's telling Mantis how ugly she is and stuff like that, but it's really kind of messed up and everything. It was kind of funny at first, but after giving it a rewatch, I was like, man, this dude is really being harsh on her and everything. I don't know why, but I just don't think it's as funny as it was when it first came out and everything. But it does have some really high emotional moments as well, especially when Peter first finds out about his dad being the one that put the tumor in his mom's head, and then Yondu sacrificing himself to save Peter. That Chris Pratt's acting in that scene was really, really good and everything. And it has some really good emotional moments in it. And Yondu's funeral and the little tribute where he talks about Yondu being like a dad and stuff right after he dies and everything before they start the big funeral thing. So it does have some really good emotional moments and everything, but it's still and everything, and it has a lot of funny moments too, but it's just not as funny as the first movie was and everything. The cinematography by Henry Bram is good. I don't think it's quite as good as the cinematography in the first movie, but it's still really good. The score by Tyler Bates is good too. It works for this movie. It's not one of my favorite scores in the MCU, but it's definitely not terrible. And the editing is by Fred Raskin and Craig Wood is really good. So for the most part, I love this movie. I think it's a worthy sequel. Not After giving both of them a rewatch, though, I'd say it's not quite as good as the first movie, but it's still a really good sequel and everything. Um, and I was really impressed at the fact that it was as good as it was and everything, because I didn't expect it to be even close to as good as the first one and everything. And when it first came out, I said I liked it more than the first. And a lot of people told me how crazy I was, and I can understand why they think it, because after rewatching both of the movies recently, I definitely say the first one is better, but this is still a really good sequel and everything. And I don't think this is going to be as high up on my MCU ranking as it used to be either. But whenever I do my final ranking, but this is a fun movie and everything. And the special effects in this are pretty good for the most part. There is some really bad CGI, but there's also some really cool makeup effects and stuff like that too. So it works out on both sides and everything, I guess. But I'd give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 a 9 out of 10, mainly because it gets a little bit boring in the middle a little bit, and some of the humor just isn't as good as the first movie and everything. But besides that, I still loved it and everything. I'm also glad that they didn't rely too heavily on Baby Groot's cuteness and stuff. They could have easily used that to make younger kids excited and everything, and relied too heavily on that, and they didn't. No, I love that. But anyway, that's my review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if there's any top 10 lists or movie reviews or movie series or anything you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments, and I'll get to them as quick as I can. And thank you, and have a good day.